The community is everything. It's like finding your tribe finally. People who get it, who share your values, who actually show up on Sunday mornings and mean it. But here's the kicker. The states where Christians are packing up and moving to aren't what most people would guess. Sure, Texas and Florida make the list. But wait until you hear about number 3. It's going to blow your mind because just 20 years ago, this place was basically a wasteland for church communities. Now it's become the promised land for believers looking to start fresh. Virginia lands at number 10, and it's not just about history anymore. The state that gave us Patrick Henry and religious freedom is pulling in Christian families at a rate that's making demographers scratch their heads. Northern Virginia alone saw a significant increase in evangelical church plants between 2020 and 2023. The draw is simple. Virginia offers something rare these days, which is a mix of traditional values with modern job opportunities. Richmond and the surrounding areas have become hotspots for homeschooling networks that put most states to shame. We're talking co-ops with hundreds of families, curriculum fairs that look like conventions, and support systems that actually support. But here's where it gets interesting. Virginia's religious freedom laws provide important protections. Churches can operate schools without jumping through endless regulatory hoops. Homeschool families face manageable government interference, and the cost of living hasn't spiraled out of control yet, though that's changing fast in some areas. North Carolina sits at number 9, and the growth here is staggering. Charlotte has transformed from a banking hub into what some are calling the new Bible Belt headquarters. The city added dozens of new churches in recent years, not church plants in existing buildings, but brand new construction. The Raleigh-Durham area tells a similar story. Tech jobs are flooding in, which normally means secular culture follows, but something different is happening here. Christian professionals are intentionally moving to North Carolina because they can have both a strong career and a strong church community. It's not an either-or situation anymore. The affordability factor can't be ignored either. A family can buy a 4-bedroom house with land for what a tiny condo costs in California. That matters when you're raising kids and want space for them to actually be kids. Plus, the public schools in many counties still allow Bible clubs and prayer groups without the legal battles that plague other states. Arizona at number 8 surprises people until they visit. The Phoenix metro area has become a magnet for Christians leaving California, and it's not hard to see why. The state offers 300 days of sunshine, lower taxes, and a culture that still respects faith in public life. But the real story is in the smaller cities. Prescott, Flagstaff, and Tucson are seeing massive influxes of believers who want community without the megacity chaos. These towns have seen significant increases in church attendance in some cases, and the new arrivals aren't just filling pews, they're starting ministries, launching Christian businesses, and building networks that actually function. Arizona's homeschool laws rank among the most parent-friendly in America. There's no required registration, no mandatory testing, and no government oversight unless you choose it. For families who take Deuteronomy 6 seriously about training up children in the faith that freedom is worth more than gold. South Carolina claims the number 7 spot, and the Palmetto State is having a moment. Greenville has become the poster child for what Christian community can look like in 2024. The city has more churches per capita than almost anywhere in America, and they're not dying congregations clinging to the past. They're vibrant, growing, and multiplying. Charleston offers something different, which is old world charm meets new world opportunities. Historic churches are packed with young families who moved from progressive cities where they felt like outcasts. Here they're the norm. Bible studies happen in coffee shops without anyone batting an eye. Prayer meetings fill up community centers. It's what normal used to look like everywhere. The cost of living remains reasonable, especially compared to the Northeast. A teacher's salary can actually support a family. A single income can still work if that's what a family chooses. And the culture supports traditional family structures without apology. Georgia takes number 6, and Atlanta's northern suburbs are ground zero for Christian migration. Towns like Alpharetta, Roswell, and Milton have seen explosive growth in church membership and school enrollment at Christian academies. We're talking waiting lists that stretch for years at some schools. But the suburbs are just part of the story. Smaller Georgia cities like Rome, Dalton, and Columbus are experiencing their own revivals. Churches that were struggling to keep the lights on 5 years ago now have 3 services on Sunday and still run out of parking. The state offers strong legal protections for religious expression. Georgia's Religious Freedom Restoration Act gives believers real recourse when their rights are challenged. That matters in an era where Christian business owners face lawsuits for living out their convictions. Oklahoma lands at number 5, and this is where things get really interesting. The Sooner State is quietly becoming a destination for Christians who want affordability without compromising community. Tulsa and Oklahoma City both rank in the top 10 nationwide for church attendance per capita. The state passed some of the nation's most robust school choice legislation, which means Christian education is accessible to families at every income level. Private school tuition can be covered through education savings accounts. Homeschool co-ops receive support. The government actually facilitates faith-based education instead of fighting it. Property is dirt cheap by coastal standards. A family can buy acreage, raise animals, and live the agrarian life that's becoming increasingly popular among believers who want their kids to understand where food actually comes from. And the community shows up. Barn raisings are still a thing. Church potlucks actually feed people. Neighbors help neighbors without being asked. Missouri claims number 4, and the Kansas City and St. Louis metros are both seeing surprising growth in Christian communities. But the real action is in the smaller towns scattered across the state. Places like Branson, Springfield, and Joplin have become havens for believers leaving hostile environments. The state's culture is unapologetically pro-faith. City councils still open with prayer. High school football teams still take a knee before games. The 10 Commandments still hang in some courtrooms. It's not the 1950s, but it's not hostile to Christianity either. Missouri offers 4 distinct seasons, reasonable costs, and communities that still function like communities. Church isn't just Sunday morning, it's Tuesday night and Thursday afternoon and Saturday when someone needs help moving. Idaho takes the bronze medal at number 3, and this is the state that's absolutely shocking demographers. 20 years ago, Idaho was sparsely populated with aging congregations and limited opportunities. Today, it's the fastest growing state for Christian families, and it's not even close. Boise has exploded with believers from California, Oregon, and Washington who fled policies that made practicing their faith increasingly difficult. The city added many new churches between 2019 and 2024. But Boise is overcrowded now, which is why families are pushing into smaller towns like Coeur d'Alene, Twin Falls, and Meridian. These communities are building from scratch. New Christian schools are opening every year. Homeschool co-ops have waiting lists. Church plants are succeeding at rates that would make any missions organization jealous. The culture is conservative, the people are friendly, and the government largely leaves families alone. The downside is, everyone knows about Idaho now. Housing prices have tripled in some areas. What was affordable 5 years ago requires serious money today. But for families who can make it work, Idaho offers something rare, which is a place where Christian values are still the default, not the exception. Tennessee claims the runner-up spot, and the volunteer state is absolutely crushing it. Nashville has become a hub for Christian media, music, and publishing. But the real story is everywhere else. Knoxville, Chattanooga, and the Tri-Cities region are all experiencing massive growth in church attendance and Christian school enrollment. The state has no income tax, which matters when you're trying to raise a family on one income. Property is still affordable in many areas. The Smoky Mountains offer beauty that rivals anywhere in America, and the culture is deeply rooted in faith traditions that haven't been abandoned or apologized for. Tennessee's homeschool laws are parent-friendly. The state supports school choice. Churches can operate without excessive regulation. It's a combination that's proving irresistible to families who want to live out their faith without constant opposition. Texas takes the crown at number 1, and honestly, it's not even a competition. The Lone Star State is absorbing Christian families at a pace that's reshaping entire regions. The Dallas-Fort Worth area, Houston, San Antonio, and Austin, despite its reputation, are all seeing explosive growth in evangelical and traditional Catholic communities. Texas offers everything: strong economy with diverse job opportunities, no state income tax, massive homeschool networks with resources that rival private schools, church communities that span every denomination and style, legal protections for religious freedom that actually have teeth, and a culture that still tips its hat to faith in public life. But the numbers tell the real story. Texas added hundreds of new churches in recent years. Christian school enrollment has jumped significantly in recent years. Homeschool families grew by double digits annually. This isn't slow drift, this is mass migration. The suburban areas outside major cities are where the action is. Places like Frisco, Katy, and New Braunfels have become destinations for families who want suburban comfort with strong Christian community. These aren't bedroom communities, they're thriving towns with their own identities and increasingly, their own church networks that rival anything in established cities. So, those are the top 10 states where American Christians are moving, and the trend shows no signs of slowing. In fact, the 2024 data suggests the pace is accelerating, which raises an obvious question: if this many believers are concentrating in specific states, what happens to the places they're leaving, and more importantly, what happens when these Christian majority areas gain even more political and cultural influence? But that's a story for another time because the maps are being redrawn right now and most people haven't noticed yet.